Hello, everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so I'm gonna start now. Just give me a second. Okay, so hello, my name is Mauricio Aracena, and together with Tom DeConick, we're gonna present our this presentation about volumetric streaming over 5G. We're both part of the VR Virtual Reality Industry Forum. I'm the president, and Tom DeConick is the communication chair for the VRIF. So VRIF, it's a non-profit organization with the sole purpose of to further the widespread availability of high quality audiovisual VR experiences for the benefit of consumer. It was founded almost 5 years ago in CES 2017. And since then, we started to work from VR, virtual reality 360, and now we are more expanding the scope to more volumetric and AR, and also including the 5G aspect, how to deal with better quality of delivery over streaming. So who we are, these are the current membership that we have. For instance, we have Fraunhofer. I was hoping that Fraunhofer will have an introduction of the production aspect, so I could go easy on talking about volumetric streaming, but I will try to do my best to explain. And just want to mention that VRIF scope is divided now in 4 tracks. As I said, mentioned before, VRC60 was the main goal now, but now we divided the scope in 4 tracks. One is volumetric, the one I'm going to talk about now, social VR, which is something that we are all experiencing right now with this platform, and the 5G cloud, which is a important aspect that can help to the adoption of better quality on VR, AR services. So today I'm going to talk about volumetric and 5G cloud together. So first of all, what's about volumetric use cases? So first of all, you capture the volumetric asset, let's say a person with a camera array around you, and then you create an asset that can be rendered into a 2D display or AR glasses or even a VR 360 headset. And the idea is that by that you enable a lot of tools, both for production, but also how to enhance the experience of the user. For instance, the topic that today is how to deliver these volumetric assets. And basically, you can see the arrow here where you have boxer that's being captured live from a boxing stage here. And that's basically something that you can combine with a second screen delivery of AR experiences. So you're watching the big TV together, and at the same time wearing your AR glasses, you can watch closer from any point of view, 60 degree of freedom, the boxers are fighting in front of your table. There are also other aspects of volumetric capture and use cases like live sport personal view. Basically, you have an array of cameras around the stadium and you can regenerate it any point of view within the stadium artificially. That's very interesting part. And also you can have a social VR and create a reality avatar representation, realistic avatar representation of yourself by having, for instance, this platform in that way. So today, mainly focusing volumetric streaming of volumetric assets. This is basically what we're doing in VRIF. We're working on a guidelines release for the end of the year, which consider everything about from end-to-end volumetric streaming. So you can see that's divided in 3 steps: the volumetric content provider, and to the left, in the center, volumetric content delivery, and then volumetric service platform. So from the production aspect, you have a camera array and you capture different cameras, and from that you generate a 3D point cloud representation of one user. And for that, you can create, let's say, different part for production for a movie, for instance, that you can play with that in a 2D representation by suddenly in the moment you have a person moving around, and then you can switch the view easily. So it's enhance the user experience even in a film. But also you can create a volumetric asset from that can enhance the 2D content. You can put it on the 360 video content or 3D overlays that you can deal with any type of use case. This is more for production, and post-production that can help you to enhance your quality of experience. Although what's important today is how actually you deliver or a volumetric asset to the end user. This is the main challenge that you have today about. So as you can see here, you have two ways to deliver a volumetric asset. And we're talking about one person, one user, one object. One is through point cloud compression, streaming, and the other one is mesh streaming. Today, I'm going to mainly talk about point cloud compression and coding, as this is current work we are doing in VRIF, although we are soon going to look at mesh encoding too, so to address how it actually happened. So how they actually done this one today? The interest is in that it's already a standard in MPEG, which is called MPEG V3V video point cloud base, and it's reducing actually a 2D video codec. So what's actually happened here that you have a 3D asset with the points, and then you project those in three sort of type of 2D video encodings, and you reduce the current availability of video encoder you have already in the market. For instance, and right now, the main focus on VRI is to use HEVC, and this is one of the profile that it belongs to the MPEG standard. And from that, you encode these three projections from 3D asset, and then you deliver as a standard 2D video. And then you use a streaming protocol, for instance, that streaming, and then at the device, you take the three part of the volumetric asset, and you reconstruct by decoding each of them and generate it in the GPU, the final volumetric representation of yourself. And so basically what you can do this is today with the current devices that you have, for instance, the mobile phones, which are the most widespread sort of player device. You can watch your volumetric asset in a flat screen. Basically, you see around you and you can go around with the phone, or you can use in the more advanced use case and more comfortable is having an AR glasses. You can still do that in the same way. Or if you want to be fully immersed, you can also use that volumetric asset in a VR HMD. So this is basically the volumetric streaming end-to-end. And this is how you can do it today using a standard MPEG codec. However, there are a lot of challenges with regards to deliver this one. The sole example here using a 2D video coding using volumetric streaming over a regular 2D video decoding produce some load in the device, and also still it's kind of a lot of bit rate. And especially if you want to deliver several volumetric assets, you need to do each encoding for each of them. So that you can send three persons, you need to send three separate persons in order to see them, all of them in the device. And that poses a lot of challenge in the long run if you want to have better quality. So that's what counts 5G. And important to mention that 5G is not only about radio, it's also about cloud XR concept that we call it. So it's actually a cloud infrastructure that's embedded in the 5G. That has two important aspects. One is that the you have a central server and you have an edge server, and that's tightly connected with the radio of the 5G. And the advantage of 5G that you normally have quite high bandwidth downlink and very low latency uplink, which is quite interesting when it's come to request what you want to see in real time. It's particularly important, for instance, for cloud gaming. It will be enhanced a lot using 5G for particular cases like you want to use your mobile phone. And at the same time, and more important, is that doing everything in the cloud will allow you to save battery time. So you basically, what's happening in the device to the right, whatever type of device that's connected via 5G, is that you only render video to the video. So this is basically what I show here. So when it's come to volumetric streaming over 5G, you have the volumetric asset into the left here, and it's capture and process. Let's assume this is only VOD, post-production only, but you also could have it real time from a live event. And then, given how you see which point of view you are seeing from your screen or your eyes is watching that, you send this tracking information and sensor information to the edge server, which is quite quick using 5G. And then in the edge server, the server application will render what you should see. Basically, the viewport that you want to see from the volumetric assets. And then that will be a projection of that, a 2D projection of the volumetric asset into, and then we'll be sending code to a 2D video encode, a standard 2 video encode. And then you send it to the device, and then you decode it as 2 video. So what's the advantage of using 5G Cloud XR concept is that basically all the devices in the future will become just standard regular player, and all the logic and all the updates and upgrades of the services will happen in the server. So what's the point important here with this sort of use case, that there's not really much processing in the device, and only you need to have a good connectivity, a good, let's say, 2D video decoding, and of course have a 5G connection and a service that run over this architecture, that at the end you will have very long lasting battery lifetime, because basically you don't, you just play videos as normal Netflix. And then I'm gonna give you the control to my colleague, Tom.
Yes, thank you, Mauricio, and thank you a lot on this interesting way of um, making sure that volumetric video is transported up to the user, and of course it is all on the technical side. It is described and it is possible and so on. But what we see always is important in this way of working, that interoperability is assured. Not only on the volumetric video, but we also saw that on VR360. We will also see that on social VR and 5G cloud. And that's why VRIF is working very much on standardization and guidelines, not so much on standardization, that's for bodies like MPEG, but especially on guidelines for implementation of these standards. How exactly can you implement these, what to use, which profile specifically, also what to use when looking at the standards. And this is what we did. We have a clear past of guidelines already published. They are freely available on our website, and also a roadmap, of course, on guidelines to be published in the future. And looking at VRIF, what we did, so apart from these guidelines, of course, it is important also to show like audience like this, to evangelize also the work we do, and we're trying to be as present as possible on multiple events, to show what we are doing, and to take some bits and pieces out of it, and to get an interest from the audiences on what we are doing. Secondly, important also is to test what we put on paper, that it's also feasible, that it's also exactly what the market is looking for. And for instance, last year we did some tests with the Streaming Video Alliance, not so much yet on streaming of volumetric video, but still on 360 VR. But it was showing exactly also on real life, real deployments, what are the challenges, what needs to be done, and so on, to make sure that market picks up much faster implementation of end-to-end services. So lastly, if anyone is interested in our work and wants to join in exactly what we are doing, please go to our website or contact either Mauricio or myself. We are a non-profit organization, so relying exactly on the work of our members, of our member companies, and exactly on the people working for these companies, to do the work, and to make sure that we are going further, and we are advancing VR and XR and as a whole, for the whole community. Thank you very much, and I think after this there's still a panel where I will also be giving some more views on VR and XR. Thank you very much.